Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 things that are depleting our energy, draining our energy. If you're somebody that says, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I've never got any energy, there's 3 things that we don't typically realise may be draining our energy. So there's lots of things that may drain our energy, but I'm going to talk about 3 specific things that we may not realise drains our energy. So number 1, the first one is overthinking. If you're somebody that massively overthinks all day long, or something's happened and then you overthink a situation and you make up lots of scenarios in your head, or you worry a lot about something that's coming up in the future, or you're just an overthinker anyway, you've always got a very, very busy mind and the mind doesn't stop. We use so much energy just to think one thought. So can you imagine how much energy you are using by overthinking constantly all day long without clearing your mind down at all? Now that is tough for some people, because some people have been so used to that busy overthinking mind all the time. But that uses a lot of energy. And if you're thinking about something in particular that is winding you up, or making you annoyed or angry, and you're making up all these scenarios in your head, and it's making you angry, it's making you fearful, it's making you worried, then that emotion that goes with that overthinking mind is also doubly draining your energy. So my advice to you with regards to that is we need to start being aware of when we are overthinking and it's unhelpful. There's certain things that we think about and they're helpful thoughts, because they help us to make a decision about something, or to understand something, or to logicalize something. But the overthinking, constant chatterbox monkey mind that goes on and on and on about all fake scenarios and worries about things that may or may not happen in the future. And if things do happen, if you do worry about something happening, the likelihood is the things we make up in our mind won't happen. But if it does, you can trust that you can deal with that when you come to it, So we need to become a little bit more aware of when we're overthinking, catch ourselves and say, this is so unhelpful. This isn't helping me in any way to overthink in this way. All it's doing is actually draining my energy. So it's pointless, it's unhelpful. So we become a slave to our ego mind. We become a slave to the chatterbox mind when we keep going with it and going with it and going with it. So ideally what we need to do is, when we recognise that we're doing that, take a step back, notice I'm overthinking. I've been overthinking for hours now. Enough's enough. I'm going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to zone out. I'm going to stare out the window. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to take my mind off these things. I'm really going to try and reduce down the amount of unhelpful thoughts there are in my mind. And I know, guys, sometimes that's not always easy, but it's a practice. Once you start doing it, you can, the more you're able to notice it and the more that you do it. So you almost become a witness to your overthinking mind. So you take a step back and you detach from the mind. You're not the mind. You are the awareness behind the mind. And you can say, oh, look at this. I've been overthinking massively today. I need to now take a step back, take a breath, and really intend to just clear my mind down as much as I can, because that is massively draining your energy. And like I said, it takes a heck of a lot of energy to think. The second thing draining your energy is not breathing properly. Now, it's something, again, that we're never told that we have to notice, but we live in a world that unfortunately has been very stressful for a long time. There's lots of things happening that stress us out. Typical busy family life can stress us out. Our career, our job can stress us out. Things going on in the world can stress us out. People can stress us out. Situations can stress us out. So what happens then is, when we're in that stress mode, when we're in that constant high level of stress, we're not breathing properly. If you're in a stress mode and then someone says to you, notice what your breathing's like, you notice that the breathing is shallow. So when your breathing is so shallow, when you're in a level of stress, you're not moving vital life force energy around your body through the breath. Life force energy is chi. You may have heard of chi, which is CHI or QI. Chi is the life force energy that moves around the body via the breath. So if you're breathing shallow because you're stressed or rushing or worried, you're not breathing properly. So that can massively drain our energy as well, because we're not getting the vital energy moving around our body by breathing properly. Now, you don't have to, if you're not interested in doing all these elaborate breathwork processes, you can do that. So some of you may already do breathwork processes. You've got the Wim Hof method. That's absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend looking at the Wim Hof method breath. You've got the heart rate variability breath, breath of fire, things like that. If you're not interested in doing any of that, you can. But if you're not interested in doing any of that, your other option is just to stop. Notice if you're breathing shallow, and then stop and just take 3 very deep, slow, nourishing breaths. More if you can, but really get into a practice of saying, what's my breathing like? Really shallow. No wonder I'm drained of energy. I'm overthinking, I'm stressing all day long. I'm not breathing properly. Okay. So really stop and take some deep breaths, because I promise you, you will feel so much better even just doing it once. But if you can make that a regular practice, that deep breathing just really does come more naturally to you, that even deep breathing, then you will notice that you will start getting more energy, because you're moving the life force energy that you need to survive through the body more. It's going to all of the places in the body that it needs to go to, that it wasn't going to when you were in stress. That's why stress is one of the biggest killers, because the main part of stress is that we're not breathing properly. And it's such a simple thing, but we need to start reminding ourselves, no matter what stress is going on, okay, we do need to stop and take some deep breaths, because that will really, really help you to really sort of reclaim some of your lost energy there. The third thing that drains our energy is holding heavy emotion in the body. There is so much energy required to hold that level of heavy emotion in the body. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about resentment. I'm talking about grief that you've not wanted to feel because it's been too painful, holding grief in the body, holding it in the chest. Stuffed down emotions, guilt, shame, fear, things like that, things that you don't really want to look at and you try and distract yourself from, or the overthinking mind will try and distract you from. But if there is something of, a very heavy energy, like anger or resentment, for example, if you really resent something that's happened to you in your life, if you're holding on to that resentment, that requires a heck of a lot of energy to keep that emotion stuck in the body. It wants to move, it wants to come out. Channel it if you need to, but channel it in a healthy way, because the body is not built to hold on to those heavy, heavy emotions. Grief, for example, that can be really difficult for us. That's the one emotion that a lot of us fear, because it brings up so much within us. It's so heavy, but we have to feel it, because if we stuff grief down and we try and move on from it without dealing with it properly, we're not honouring the emotion, but number 2, we're really, really draining our energy reserves, because every single day in, day out, you are unconsciously holding that in your being, and your body and your whole system has to hold that heavy emotion in the body, and that can massively, massively drain your energy reserves, guys. So what I would say is just not worth holding on to those heavy emotions, because you're doing yourself a disservice when you do that. Let it go. Let it go. And if it's something you think, I don't know how to let it go, I might be holding on to something, but I don't know what it is. You can just set the intention that if there are any heavy emotions trapped within my energy field that I may or may not be conscious about, I intend to release them now. And they may even start coming up as soon as you say that. Let them flow, let them come up. Okay. If there's a moment of grief that comes up, or if you think, well, I know I've got a lot of grief, but how do I release that now? 20 years later, for example, you can journal about it. You can take yourself back to that time and you can write about it. And as soon as you start writing about it, guys, it will come up to be released. And I can't tell you how much your health will improve, your energy levels will increase if you just notice these 3 things that I've just spoken to you about, okay? There are many other things, yes, that drain our energy, but these are the 3 biggies, I would say, guys, okay? So number 1 is the overthinking mind. Take some time out in your day to clear the mind down in whatever way works best for you. And it is a practice. Maybe you won't be able to do it immediately, but thought energy requires a lot of energy. Thought processes require so much energy from us, okay? The second one is become aware of your breathing. Even if you put a reminder on your phone every day, right, 3 deep breaths, more if I can. Really, that really nourishes the body, guys, and it really brings back energy into your fields. We get fresh energy given to us every day. Fresh energy comes to us every day, okay? It's downloaded into our system every day, fresh energy. If we're just going to keep using it with the same old things all the time, we're always going to be drained, okay? And obviously, I didn't put rest on the list, but rest is something that we're not accustomed to as a society. It's absolutely drilled into us to go, go, go all the time. And that is the other thing that is draining our energy, because we're not balancing it out with enough rest. So take rest or time out for yourself as much as you can. Okay, so the breathing, and then the third one then, holding on to old heavy resentments, guilt, grief, fears, shame, things like that, is massively draining your energy reserves. So set the intention to go back to it, recognize that it might be there, and start releasing it from the body. And you will feel so much better. Even if you just do one of these things, you will feel 10 times better if you do 3 of these things, okay? So I hope that helps you, and I hope you manage to get your energy levels back. You will see a massive transformation in how you feel if you can start noticing these things. Okay, and I'll see you next time. Bye.